Boom.
Oh.
Good morning, good afternoon. It is actually afternoon and good evening. Welcome back to...
It's not afternoon. It's 11:30.
Have you seen that TikTok where it's like the people, it's a podcast, and this girl doesn't know when noon is?
I'm obsessed with her. She represents me. That's so funny.
No, it's so funny. Like, when do you think noon is? I don't know, 11? Like, when else would noon be? Noon! It's noon!
They said noon is 12. They're like, what did they say? They're like, what is midnight? She's like, 12 a.m.
Yeah.
They're like, what is noon? 11.
Well, what is afternoon? Oh, well, you know, like in that, it's like 2 p.m.
Afternoon, yeah.
It was so funny. There were people who were like, there's too many people with podcasts right now. We need more. Like, these people can have a podcast.
Love them, yes.
That was probably the best discussion. Total nonsense. Well, welcome back to the Peasant Party Podcast. I'm your host, Charlotte Warren. Everyone's favorite person is back in studio. I love your cowboy boots.
Thanks. I just got them yesterday. My hair girl gave them to me. Thank you.
Oh, I need to know who your hair girl is.
Yeah, she did my hair. I didn't wash it this morning.
I look disgusting too.
Don't look at me.
Come in and we pay for this by recording fake podcasts. Oh yeah, here's another. I brought my Wrangler bag. I can get.
Wait, what? That's so sick.
It's one of the samples. So everyone, you should buy a Wrangler bag because you can carry a bunch of shit you don't need in it, like these caffeinated energy bars. Your Verb Energy. They actually are really good.
Honestly, they're kind of fire.
No, they're caffeinated energy bars, 110 calories.
That's why we're like on a sick one right now.
Exactly.
That's why we're like this right now.
Yes. You want to know like what trend right now is really pissing me off? I'm gonna sound like the biggest fucking fun sucker in the world.
Do tell.
The girl math thing.
Okay. All right, I'll hear you out. Tell me why. That's
I didn't spend, so I say this as a person who really fucking sucks at math. Mm-hmm. I didn't spend middle school and high school having dad yell at me during math homework to the point where I cried.
Yes.
And like have to like get an A in math so that I could like have a cell phone just to like have people be like, ha, like girl math and pretend to be stupid and think it's funny.
Girl math can't count. Okay. So here's my thing. I actually think I think like girl. So there's kind of.
I also
a fine
just
line,
hate
right?
kitschy buzzword terms.
Sure. And yeah, I mean, if you want to go against the grain, but I actually really like appreciated the girl dinner thing, which I think is different from girl math because I think girl math kind of was taken into the wrong hands. But girl dinner, I actually really appreciate because I don't know about you, but I have been eating saltines with like pesto for my whole life. When I can't come up with a dinner, I'm like crackers, apple slices. Like that's girl dinner. And it's because I'm busy with other shit in my life and I'm not like a domesticated woman. Like I'm eating whatever I can so I can move on to the next thing. Like I'm an independent woman. I take care of only myself. I'm not cooking for anyone else. So like I loved the girl dinner thing because I feel like it was just very like, yeah, women are allowed to like have these silly, goofy little personalities and be independent and care for themselves. And it doesn't have to be shamed or looked down upon, you know?
Totally.
Like girls being messy is in some strange way, like kind of taboo, you know? Like you're not supposed to be messy as a girl. So I appreciated that. But girl math, I think, yeah, sometimes it's a little bit like, 1 + 1 is 3. And like, I don't think, what about boy math?
I think it's all dumb. Math is numbers.
Okay, but boy math
2 + 2 is 4 is math.
Okay, but boy math they say is more like, oh, he bought a girl 3 drinks and now he thinks he can like cling to her shoulder all night or whatever. Like that's boy math. Like it's not actual math. It's just kind of
it's
like
another kitschy fucking
roasting
buzzword.
the shit out of men.
No more coming up with cute trends. It's dumb. I hate them.
Good luck preventing that.
I'm going to prevent people on the internet who want attention from trying to do things that will get them more attention. It's going to work phenomenally.
Okay, no more buzzwords. No fun allowed.
No fun allowed. In case anyone didn't know, that is
fun
a joke.
Police.
There's literally people, like, it was funny because Buddy says to me, he's like, because I like my content is jokey. I yell at people. Sure. Last night, I like had a thing with a knife that I was doing and I was,
Okay.
And, like, some people, like, in there, they're just like, nobody wants someone screaming at them. And then it's just like, Buddy's like, people do think you're serious. I was like, do people think, like, how would I have gotten this far in life if I was running around screaming at people the way I do on the internet?
You know what, though? I think it's fine if some people think you're serious, because it's not for those people. It's for the people who get it. And just like any good comedy on the internet, there's always going to be some dumb fuck who's like, is this real? Wow. Like, satire. Any type of satire on the internet, there's going to be a group of people that are like, wow, I would have dumped her immediately. You would never get a date with me. And it's like, yeah, bitch, because it's satire. Yeah. And like, the girls who get it. And that's good comedy. Like, not everyone's going to get it. And the people who do get it, like, are in on the joke. I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't even think, like, you don't have to think I'm funny. Like, some people, like, if some people, like, their bar for funny is way higher than what I'm doing. But, like, the idea that it's in the realm of possibility that I'm being serious. Like, do you think I run around waving knives at people and, like, have, like, run around with a PowerPoint and I'm like, hey, you're not talking, you're dating? Like,
right.
No.
And satire doesn't always have to be, like, ha-ha humor, like, laugh-out-loud humor. Like, I think satire makes a point rather than just, like, empty humor. So
fair. That is fair.
That's what I had to say about that.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. What else is new before we go into our little question?
What else is new? Girl. Listen, being single, I'm loving it, okay?
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm having a good time with it. I'm wondering, like, how much is... We can talk about sex on this podcast, right? Like, it's not just about dating.
We can.
Okay. Well, I won't get too into it, but... me and my homegirl, who is also recently single, we're talking about, like, BDSM, because we're both, like, getting into our late 20s, and it's just like, damn, that's something that I've never experienced when I was younger. I think, I was always just so, like, I was afraid of sex. Sex was, like, uncomfortable for me. I didn't feel confident in it. And as you get older, you start to feel more confident about that type of thing, and, like, just approaching certain kinks. And so we've been discussing it lately and just kind of, like, lightly looking into it. And I'm telling you this because this just happened like 20 minutes ago. So last night I was out with some friends and I was telling them, like, yeah, I know this guy. We haven't met before, but we have mutual friends and we follow each other, and he's DM'd me before. And he put me on his close friends randomly. And, like, on his close friends, he'll post content. It's, like, kind of cringy, but, like, he clearly is into BDSM and, like, tying people up and, like, shibari and shit. Ooh. And I never, like, responded to it. I was kind of like, oh, whatever. And I was, like, dating somebody after that. But then we were talking about it last night, and my homegirl was like, DM him right now. Message him right now. Right now, do it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I messaged him, and basically I feel like I got stone cold rejected.
That happens, though.
It happens. Well, he was just kind of like, yeah, no thanks. But I think he might have been, like, on a trip with maybe another girl, maybe another sub. I'm not sure. Because then this morning he responded to me and started talking to me a little bit about it. And I was trying to be really coy, but eventually I was like, yeah, do you have any space on your roster for another one?
Damn.
And he was like, yeah, I got 1 or 2 spots.
Damn. All right.
I'm nervous. I'm scared, but hopefully, like, he's really cute, so I'm not too, like, stressed about it.
I mean, adventures those are always, like...
I know, isn't that so scary? I hear Austin's not very big for, like, that type of stuff.
I heard Austin's huge with, like, the swinger community or something. Swingers.
Dallas is crazy with, like, the kink community. So, that's what I'm up to, but I never got to do that when I was, in relationships and stuff. And it's always, when you're in a relationship, it's kind of hard to, like, bring up new kinks to a person. It's kind of hard to, like, introduce new things and be like, can we try? Yeah. Or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel
totally.
Like, yeah, this is a good era for me.
Yeah. No, it's like, it's always one of those because you're, like, scared, like, they'll judge you and stuff, and, like, yeah, no, but I mean, like, it's good to explore that, and, like, especially, like, with or without another person, like, there's a lot of like good books out there. There's a lot of good, like, I feel like there's a lot of good, like, female like hosted like classes and stuff that can help you get into that like without having to have a partner or something.
Yeah,
like
there's stuff for like
pole dancing. I've heard is a great workout. You do a pole dancing class, like all of that.
Wait, I want to do pole dancing but I've always wanted to actually, and it's like one of those things, you know. Same with like BDSM, which like shibari doesn't even have to be like overtly. I mean, it is sexual, but like there's an art form to it, you know. And like I just realized like, oh my god, I don't want to get old and be stuck in like a vanilla relationship and be like, I never tried the cool things that I wanted to try.
Yeah. Well, you know? Yeah, you never know, and like hopefully you find that within a relationship, and
yeah, hopefully, or find a relationship through that.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. How do you feel about liars? That's a loaded question.
That's a broad question.
Yeah.
How do I feel about liars?
Liars are bad.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great.
All right. So I'll narrow down the question a little bit.
Thank you.
What white lies do you think are okay to tell in early dating, or what white lies do you tell? Kind of off the top of your head, anything recently?
Okay. I think white lies are just leaving information out.
Got it.
Right? Like okay, so like for example, I don't know, not telling somebody the extent of like how recently you got out of a relationship or whatever, like stuff like that. Like I kind of keep that close to the chest because I don't want them to be like, whoa, you're emotionally unstable or whatever. Of course, it bites me in the ass because then I try to date somebody and I'm not ready for it and I have to be like, sorry. But that would be like a white lie. But I know that we had discussed this before on like Hinge. You can put if you drink alcohol or smoke weed or whatever, and you said that you think that a lot of times people aren't fully honest about that.
It's also just because everyone's definitions are different. I mean, obviously, if you don't drink and you put no, that's pretty straightforward. But some people's version of sometimes and socially and frequently is very different.
Very different. That's true.
And then, of course, there's also stuff where, because I think the weed one is weird because it's like if it's not totally legal in your state, it's just like opening yourself up to something, like especially because there's some people who are just like, it's just not a big enough part of my life to like mention. I mean, if you smoke weed every day and you want to be with somebody who does, like you probably put it. But if you are somebody who, you know, someone passes you a joint at like a, you know, reggae concert and you take it, like you don't have to put sometimes, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
Like, so I think, leaving stuff out. You want to know a white lie that I have definitely been guilty of?
Yes.
So like, and it's usually because it's over text where I have a resource in the form of a phone.
Sure.
I have totally said I've seen movies or read books or seen shows that I've never seen and then just looked up the plot on Wikipedia.
I kind of love that. That's so funny.
Like,
I'm honest about that kind of thing because like, I don't
if I'm like a conversation's going good and there's good momentum, I'm like, I can watch this later. I'll figure it out. Like,
okay.
Oh, do you? I'm seeing this comedian. Oh, I totally oh my god. Actually, I did not do that with Buddy. I knew who everybody was. But I've like with people's like obscure bands. Like, oh, like I know who they are. Really, you do? Nobody does. I've done that.
Wow. Okay. So would you say that?
It's also, but the thing is, it's something that I can always figure out quickly, like if things go well. Like it's not like, like it's not like I'm saying I'm 21 when I'm 30. Like I can't go magically be 21 again. Like,
sure. But then do you feel like you are bending your persona and your personality to fit like what you think they will like?
So the thing is, I don't think it goes that far into that direction. Because usually it's like, it's usually not something that extreme. It's usually because I like them already and like the things they're interested in. So I figure it will be on the same wavelength. And I also don't show too much enthusiasm for it. Like I never say it's my favorite band or like it's my favorite comedian. Oh yeah, I know them. Oh yeah, they're kind of funny. Like that kind of stuff. So, and usually it's like, it's to keep a good momentum and like it usually, they don't like pry into it. Like they're not like, oh, they don't start quizzing me like, oh, when was he born? Name 3 of your favorite songs. Like it's usually like, oh.
Name 3 songs.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Can I have a situation, and I know we got to get to the listener mail, but I need to ask you if you would do the same thing that I did in this situation. Okay. So, I might have even talked about him on one of the previous podcasts, but there's this guy. Met him on Tinder, not on Hinge, so it doesn't. All the information's not there. Met him on Tinder. Hottest guy I've ever seen. I'm not joking you. So fine. Beautiful fine line tattoos, like absolutely stunningly gorgeous. And I tattooed him. He came in and I tattooed him and we hit it off and had a good time and went and got a drink and whatever. And we had been talking for a couple days prior to this. and he was like in town. He was just visiting in town. We hung out for like 3 days, and on like the 3rd day, I finally, I think I asked a question that gave him no more space to lie or leave information out, and he was like, "Yeah, so I do have a kid."
Oh,
I think he said the kid was like 10 or 11 or something like that, and I'm like, okay, fine. You have a kid, all good. You live far away. Like, it's, whatever. And then and he told me a little bit about, like, his ex-wife and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like, yeah, right. You didn't tell me the last couple days. It's kind of weird that you would withhold that information. He goes home, comes back a few weeks later, and then lets it slip that he has another kid with another woman. So I literally like changed his name in my phone to 2 kids, 2 baby mamas. but he's so fucking hot, and I like it. I was so tempted to just like let it go,
Yeah.
Would you, if you find out a guy has 2 kids, 2 baby mamas, are you cutting it off right there?
I think you're not a good parent if you hide that you have kids. I think like there's something like to be said, like because as I was like single and dating, I didn't really come across like too many single dads. I think it's just kind of the social circles I was in. Like anybody that was a father was married to their wife, or like, so I didn't come across it. But I think a big thing for me would be like, your kid's not like, if I were to date a single dad, I would want him to be a good dad and like excited to raise his kids and like.
But you would theoretically date a single dad.
It would be in the realm of possibility, especially at the age that I'm at. I think just like with living in a big city and like being in social circles where people are getting married a little bit later, it's not something I was coming across a lot. I think I went on one date with a single dad, and he was very open about.
Did you really?
Yeah, when I was 28 and he was like 40, it just felt like too big of an age gap, and I could smell that he was like a cigarette smoker, which kind of turned me off.
Oh my God, I didn't know about this. That's crazy.
It was one date. And like, but yeah, no, I think like a big fear for me, if like with like dating a single parent wouldn't be so much of like, I would be too afraid of being like a young girl or a young kid's like what's it called, like the Meredith Blake in The Parent Trap, like being someone's evil stepmom, or like getting attached to the kids and then like it doesn't work out or something like that. And like I've heard of people getting really serious heartbreak because you've become like a mentor to these kids and stuff, and then you leave the relationship and you don't see those kids anymore. And I think that would be the thing I'd be more afraid of. And then just ultimately like because I don't work with kids and stuff, like not wanting to be a bad role model to somebody. So that would be the things I'd be afraid of.
Totally. And one of the things that I start to think about now as I'm older, I'm like, but if I start dating a guy with a kid, what if I want a family, And like, is that cruel to the other kids?
Yeah.
To be like, oh, we're bringing a baby in and it's only like half your sibling.
Because we've seen that happen. Like there was someone that we grew up with, and I won't say their name on here, but like, parents had him and then divorced, and then they both started their own families. He was just kind of like the black sheep with like the bad bedroom at both of the houses.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like sad to see because it felt like he was like the forgotten child.
Yeah.
And I would never want to be that person to somebody.
Right.
It's more about like that's the thing. It's like more about me than it is about them. Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, back to our liar question. No, I think that was we have good tangents. But like white lies. What about like lying? What happens though? And this isn't so much I don't know where this falls in the realm of lying, but say you're dating somebody or you've been going on dates with somebody, and maybe there's another person that comes into the mix. What happens if you have a date plan with somebody, and then that other person comes into the woodwork and says, "Hey, what are you doing on Friday?" and you have a date with that other person? What is your response to them?
Okay. Which one do I like more in this scenario? I
don't know.
I like them equally. Okay, and I'm just kind of trying to figure.
It's still early. You're not
still early. I would lie. I would make up a lie, probably, depending on who I want to hang out with more. Listen, I'm a woman of the streets. I'm not above doing one date one night and another date the next night. Not above it. I will go out with one guy one night, next night, book something else.
Yeah, but no, so what if, though, like, you have a date planned on Friday, you're excited about this date, and then other guy comes in and says, hey, do you want to do something on Friday night, the same time as your date?
Yes, I do, and I will reschedule the other guy. See you there, babe.
Not, okay, like...
I want my cake, and I want to eat it too, babe. So.
I made up a buzzword called cake slut. I shouldn't be making up buzzwords.
A buzzword really all of a sudden.
Because there's a lot of people who like want to have their cake and eat it too, and like there's a lot of people who want like two traits in a person that kind of exist at odds with one another.
Oh,
like a big one you see with guys is like, I don't want her to be after, like I don't want her to be after my wallet, but then like simultaneously they'll be like, I want to date a 21-year-old. No, I don't care about careers. I don't want a career woman.
Literally.
It's like,
oh my God,
girl,
that's
like,
so annoying.
Literally, like, the type of woman you want is, like, the type that is most likely to be, like, after your wallet and need the date more. Like, so it's, like, it's kind of a cake slut move. And
dude,
women have those kinds of things, too, where it's, like, you know, like, things around where it's, like, okay, like, if you want I don't know, like, a finance guy or something, like, but you also want one to be drug-free and never, and like, it's like, you're not going to find, or it's like
the pool gets smaller.
The pool gets smaller. Like, you want two traits that stand at odds with each other. It's like, you know, I want a guy who likes to go to, like, reggae concerts and loves Bob Marley, but I don't want him to smoke any weed. It's like, that doesn't really, like, yeah.
Good luck. Good luck with that. Yeah. I saw a guy on Hinge literally this morning, who was like, I want a girl, or y'all fall for you if, like, you... or whatever. I want a girl who like is really fit and like really attractive, but like is modest. Like a woman who looks amazing in a one piece. And I'm like, that's annoying.
Yeah, good luck.
You want a smoking hot bitch that will wear only a one piece for you? Like what?
No, yeah.
Cake slut.
Yeah, cake slut. Cake slut.
You want that cake and you want to eat it too,
I know,
bitch.
like, I'm sorry. Like, I know a lot of, like, you know, like Christian women who are, like, you know, socially, but, like, if they're into fitness, like, they're showing off those abs. Like, they,
yes,
and it's not a thing of, like, showing off the body. It's about fitness and health. And so, like, that is a cake slut move.
Sure.
Fucking cake sluts all over the place. Okay, so we'll go back to that thing about lying about having another date, because one of our listeners had a situation, because we're talking about honesty, but sometimes there's like this kind of dilemma of like honesty versus kindness, or how much honesty do you actually want, basically. Because this woman wrote in saying, he told me about his other dates. I, late 20s female, was 2 dates in with an ex-coworker named Ken. Name has been changed. Okay. We're not going to go tell him. Sorry, Ken. At least I think they were dates, but after a recent text conversation, I'm not sure. See, I wanted to see what Ken was up to on Friday to hang out again. I sent a text asking if he was free and got a response that caught me off guard. He said, would like to see you again, but Friday's no good. I'm going on a date that night. How's Saturday? Parentheses, I was busy on Saturday, so no plans could be made for that weekend. I'm pretty thrown off by this and what it might mean. I'm 100% aware of and okay with multi-dating happening early on, but always thought it was supposed to be a don't ask, don't tell type thing. When I've been on the other end of these types of questions, I usually just answer that I have dinner plans with a friend and that suffices. I've gotten that response back from guys plenty when I've asked them and never saw the need to pry further. But this level of honesty, it almost feels like he's trying to send a message that he's either not interested in me, sees our situation as extremely casual, or like he's treating his dates like he's the Bachelor and his dates are the contestants, you know, trying to flex or create competition among his options. So what are your thoughts on this, and does this mean anything? Is this just a brutally honest guy, or does this give any kind of insight into his intentions?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah, to me it sounds like it's a little bit of like Bachelor, like, are you jealous? Are you getting jealous right now? You want to hang out with me Saturday? It's just very setting her up. It's like, yeah, I had a date last night, but you get to follow up, and like if you impress me, you'll get my attention. I don't know. That's fucking weird. Personally, if I'm going on dates with someone, like, you only have eyes for me and you better act like it. Like, it can be fake, but don't act like if you even like check out another girl while I'm on a first date with you, you're done. You're cut. You are cut. The fact that he would like dare to do that, that's some like negging shit, I feel.
Yeah, because I feel like tone matters a lot. Because I will say, like, just as someone who makes dating content for people that are kind of all over the map in terms of, you know, their social, social skills and awareness, there are some people where they say they insist they want that brutal honesty. And I ask people, how much honesty do you really want? They all say, I want everybody to be super honest. Like, does it actually happen in practice? But there are some people who say, like, if they ask me, I give an honest answer. And, like, I feel like I would almost have to, like, see how this date play out. Because there's a certain type of guy I would look at him and be like, okay, he's trying to, like, you know, send a message. And there's another type of guy that I think would just be earnestly thinking he was being honest. So it really depends on the tone of the conversation.
Yeah. Dude, are you... Okay, if a man asks you if you're seeing other people while you're, like, on a date with him, what do you say?
I would think that's weird because I think there is sort of this level of illusion. I think multi-dating can and does happen. I think for some people that helps them be a better dater to have that kind of going on in the early stages.
Right.
But I think, and like people are going to, oh, you should always just be honest. I think there is a strong level of kindness that comes with giving someone the illusion that they are the one and only. And that means things like, you know, you don't openly talk about your other dates. You turn the Hinge notifications off so that it's not dinging on your phone, or maybe you put your phone in your pocket so nothing else pops up.
Yeah, okay.
You know, you have a level of like discretion like that.
I'm guilty of that. Like, I'll put my phone on the table and Hinge is just going on.
No, but see, like
that happened to me recently.
Like, I think there's something kind to that illusion. And I think, but there's also like not prying and asking about it and just kind of like letting that happen. I also think the idea of like, if you want to have some sort of exclusivity conversation, I don't think that starts with a question. I think you have to put your cards on the table first, or else it's just kind of a gotcha moment, like saying, are you seeing other people? I think
maybe that's what he was doing. Maybe he was trying to put all his cards on the table. Like,
so that's the thing too. Like, because there's a few things I think it could be. Like, first, I do wonder, like, because she made the comment about it being like an ex-coworker type deal. She didn't say anything about, you know, if there's kissing on these dates. Like, part of me wonders if, like, there's some
friends.
Yeah, does he think they're friends, or like maybe because there's like a kind of simultaneous like professional relationship, even though they like don't work together anymore. But you know, like, people sometimes still see people as colleagues or people they can get references from. Like, you know, maybe he's like, he doesn't see it as a date, and
he's friend zoning her. He might be friend zoning her.
Totally
just to
could
be like,
be.
oh, I am dating someone else.
Yes.
People.
And I think like if these are dates, like she should know, but like,
right.
You know, it's possible that that's not the case. I think, you know, is there the earnest, brutally honest type guy? Yeah. I wonder though if it's like setting the tone of like, hey, just so you know, I'm out there. I'm not in a rush.
Right.
Because I think like there are people who are dating intentionally who are looking for relationships. But they I feel like have that level of discretion in the early stages.
Right.
Like that. So I think like if he's like late 20s and up, I don't see him playing like the, you know, I'm going to make them fight over me Bachelor type game. I think if that was the dynamic, we would hear more about it.
Right.
But I think it maybe is kind of a way of saying like, you know, yeah, I'm out there, like kind of putting, because sometimes I feel like people put a disclaimer out there when they announce something that people kind of know that they might be doing, but the fact they're saying it aloud is something they can come back to later. Just like the person who says, you know, like, oh, I'm not in a rush to get into a relationship, or like, oh, you know, I like to date without any expectations. Like, most people know, even if they're looking for relationships, that like dating situations, like, you're not boxed into being in a relationship with a person. Like, you know, maybe you'll be 3 dates in, you'll decide they're not for you. Like, that's kind of part of dating. So it's kind of like if you go out of your way to say like, oh, I don't want there to be expectations, it's kind of like putting a little disclaimer out there that, you know, this is going to come back later. It's like a foreshadowing, like the Chekhov's gun or something, where it's like it'll come back around later.
What? Oh,
yeah, like
Chekhov's gun. I didn't know that's what that was. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a movie trope where it's like, oh, if they say like, oh, what's that boar's head on the wall in a movie or something, it comes back up later.
I see.
Because movies, they don't just do that for no reason.
A little foreshadowing.
Yeah. Totally. So it's like I feel like it's kind of he's setting himself up for later when they say like, you know, oh hey, like, you know, what are we? What are we doing?
What are we? Yeah.
You know, hey, whoa! I said, like, I told you I was dating other people. Like, whoa! Like, I wonder if that's kind of the case here.
Okay.
But also, I will say, like, even though like multi-dating is generally acceptable and okay in early stages, like, you can be like turned off by him like being like announcing it out loud. Like,
totally. Like, totally. Yeah. If I was on a date with a man and he announced it out loud, I would not like laugh it off. I'd be like, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you sit there in that awkward silence. Like, what the fuck do you mean by that? Like, all right, if you don't want me, like, you said it, babe.
Yeah.
Don't be thinking you're gonna play mind games like back and forth. Don't be thinking I'm gonna be like, ooh, I'm gonna compete and see if I'm the better one. Like,
yeah,
bitch.
No, I think like he's probably putting some sort of signal out there. Unless like if I saw this guy and he was wearing like khakis and a tucked in polo, then maybe he's just being earnest, like honest guy. But like,
yeah, I guess it depends on.
Really, I would have to see the tone, and I'm sure like this woman can kind of get a feel for it. Kind of on the note of multi-dating though, yeah, I think as far as like multi-dating goes, sorry, we're looking at the multi-dating, serial dating versus multi-dating. Which one have you always preferred? So you're not in a relationship, by the way. So as we know, dating means actively going on dates.
Yes. Okay.
Serial dating is you have one person at a time. If you want to date a new person, you walk away from that one, you go to the next. Multi-dating is you do concurrently.
Oh man, see, I think multi-dating can only last so long. I can get through like 3 multi-dates before I'm like, I'm gonna pick the best one and start hanging out with that one. You know, like you go on 3 dates with 3 different people, and then it's like, what, I'm supposed to like love them all equally? Like, no, I'm definitely gonna prefer to spend my time with one of them.
And I think it's very much like an early dating move, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like because multi-date, like, and that's what's like, because for me, I have ADHD. How many times have I told you a story that I have already told you?
Oh, yeah, a lot.
Or like forgotten that I've told a story, like,
or get lost in your train of thought.
Yes, like, but the thing is, like, for me, like, I couldn't multi-date solely for the purpose of like being afraid I'd mix up stories.
Oh my God, I do that all the time.
Like,
I do that all the time.
Like, wrong person.
Oh my God, I literally do this all the time. I'm like, oh, aren't you the one that was talking about blah, blah, blah? Like, wasn't it you that said da-da-da? And they're like, wrong bitch.
Well, because I don't multi-date for that purpose. And I've literally had times where it was like, I dated somebody and then, a month later I was on a date with somebody, a few dates in with somebody new or something. And then it would be, I would like think of a story. I was like, oh shoot, like that's not his story. Like,
right? Yes. Oh my God.
So
yes,
like
yes.
that purpose alone, I could not multi-date but there's also like the kind of things where it's like people are busy, like getting into like a relationship, like it's like that takes momentum, and like multi-dating, could that make you spread too thin to really get to know anybody?
Yeah.
Like that would be like my whole thing.
Oh yeah, that is kind of true, because I give it my all. When I like go out, I'm having a good ass time with me, regardless of who I'm with. And yeah, I definitely feel like telling all my stories, talking about shit that I'm into, like to have to restart that every time I like meet a new person and be on 10 every time, like that is super exhausting.
Totally. And I know like when I was single and like would be meeting somebody on apps, like if I had a good date with somebody, like I just didn't have it in me to just like go back onto Hinge like after a good date and be like, what else is out there? Like I would be too excited about that person. But that's just how I operate. Yeah. Because there's a lot of like, I feel like messaging out there that's like, like isn't just like multi-dating is normal. I think it's healthy, it's okay in early stages, but people that like, and I feel like this pressure comes to women where it's like you have to be multi-dating, or like you're doing dating wrong if you can't multi-date or don't multi-date. Like have you ever heard that messaging? Like people saying, oh, you should always be talking to multiple people, like don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like there's some people who feel really strongly and encourage people to multi-date. Just like one of our listeners. And we'll jump into the next question. We're doing
okay, let's go.
Rapid fire episode. Run it. Feeling pressure to multi-date. I, 27 female, have been single for the last 3 years and would call myself chronically single at this point. Never had a relationship over a year. I took a break from dating due to feeling burned out, and have gotten back to dating now that it's fall. Of course, as I've shared this with my female friends, most of whom are in relationships, they're always curious how dating is going and want to be helpful where they can. However, one piece of advice they keep giving me is that I should always be talking to multiple guys at once. I've never been a fan of this style of dating. Even though I know it's not wrong, I just can't get past the feelings of guilt and have the crazy fear of running into one of the other guys while out with another one, or getting a text from another guy like while I'm on a date. Stuff like that. Not to mention, dating is time consuming. It feels kind of hard to juggle. But when I try to explain this to my friends, they laugh it off and say I need to get used to it because because it's not wrong, and that dating is supposed to be time consuming. And if I can't manage multiple guys, then maybe I'm not ready to date. They say I'm giving exclusivity and girlfriend benefits to someone without them giving me the benefit of the label of girlfriend, and I'm putting all my eggs in one basket and I'm gonna get hurt. One even called me naive. So am I doing something wrong here? I can't help but wonder, since I've been single for a few years and all my friends are in relationships, if they're right, what's the best way to try multi-dating in a way that's more comfortable for me?
I think that you sound incredibly polite, and I think that there is space for that in like multi-dating, which, you know, you don't want to run into people, or you don't want to be getting texts from somebody else like while you're on a date with one person. I think that's very sweet of you to care about how that would impact somebody that you're seeing that could potentially be really excited to hang out with you, you know. Like I get that. I think I do kind of agree with the whole like don't give girlfriend benefits to someone who's using you. But I think in this instance, serial dating is probably the way to go. Like, and I think people probably just like her friends probably just don't understand the difference between multi-dating and serial dating.
Yeah, because I think first off, I think the thing that she should do is tell her friends to fuck off.
Sure.
Like, because so first off, people get exclusivity and serial dating mixed up a lot. So serial dating is like a personal choice for yourself because it's easier for you to date that way. Like, I only want to date one person at a time. Like exclusivity, and I really don't like this idea of having like asking for this exclusivity thing as like a preamble to a relationship. Like, I think it's just like you're adding an extra step. But like exclusivity comes with some sort of responsibility. Like in serial dating, you do it regardless of what the other person's doing. You don't have to, and usually don't announce it to the other person. And like, there's also like other responsibilities that come with like the girlfriend benefits beyond just it's like you're responsible to that person versus just like, I'm only dating this person at a time, one at a time. Yeah. Like, so I don't think if you prefer to date one person at a time and it works like with your schedule and how you like to date, you're not giving somebody girlfriend benefits. Like, you're probably not picking them up from the airport just because you're serial dating.
Sure. Yeah. And I do think there's something to be said for like being more conservative about like your sexual energy as well. Like, if dating, you know, does include that, like, and you feel uncomfortable or like it like hurts you to be hooking up with more than one person at a time, which there are plenty of like health, you know, issues that could come with that. Like you're just being like, I think, aware of your own health and safety and like mental health and happiness. And I think that is completely fine. I think that's completely fine.
Yeah. And I will say, like, multi-dating can work for some people. Like, there's reasons that some people like it more. Like, some people, you know, like they go on, it takes them a while to figure out if they like somebody. They feel like serial dating, maybe they let go of people too quickly and don't give people a fair enough chance versus multi-dating. It's like, okay, like, let's do another date and see how things go. Yeah. But at the same time, like, the con to that is maybe you hang on to someone that's not a good fit versus serial dating forcing you to kind of.
For sure. Yeah, that's true. You might end up stuck with somebody and not like weighing out all your options. But I think you have to be kind of like cavalier to multi-date. Like, you kind of have to step into that side of yourself and not be afraid to hurt someone's feelings, not be afraid to ghost someone. Like, that's par for the course when you're multi-dating. Like, you're going to be ghosting people and people might be ghosting you.
Yeah. And like, I don't think you should ever choose a style of dating just because the other person might be dating that way. Like, I think that pressure to multi-date is silly. I also, like I said, exclusivity and serial dating are two very different things.
Totally.
Yeah. I think her friends need to fuck off. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I think we had a short episode today. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening in. We'll be back again soon.
Yeah, so much fun. Ciao.
So much fun.
Love
Ciao,
you.
people.
Okay. Bye. Sorry, I just feel fucking bad.
I know. Yeah.
I feel terrible. I think there's